Now let's move on and look at another constraint. Female promotion rates are, of course, going to have a strong impact on managerial diversity. And we can see here for each business what percentage of current promotions are currently going to female candidates. So for business A, it's just 15%, 35% for business B, and 20% for business C. Now, if we want to improve our gender diversity, it might be nice to know what's a realistic target by which we can bump each of these promotion rates up. And to do that, we have some reference charts. So we'll switch to the Hiring and Mobility tab and now focus on the promotion side here. What this is showing us is for each of these businesses, what percentage of candidates for promotion are female candidates, and then what percent of promotions actually go to female candidates. And we can see here that business B is by far the top performer. 20% of its candidates for promotion are female, but a full 35% of those promotions go to female candidates. Business A and business C are both laggards. So for business A, 25% of candidates are female, but only 15% of promotions go to females. And it's similar for business C. So for both business A and business C, we want to bump these promotion rates up. So what's realistic? Well, for business A, 25% of candidates are female. Let's say we could aim for 35% of promotions being among female candidates. And for business C, 35% of candidates are female. So let's shoot for 45% of promotions going to females. So we'll switch over and now let's see what happens to our managerial diversity if we make these changes. So we'll bump business A up to 25%. And now we've gone to 15.4%. So we've crossed the 15% threshold for managerial diversity, which is great. And now for business C, we said we're going to bump that up to 45% was a realistic target. And so now we're over 16% of our managers are now female. So bumping up those promotion rates has a great positive impact. Now let's look at one more constraint. This is our leader ratio, something we haven't talked about yet. So this is a constraint that organizations put in place to keep from becoming too top heavy. It's the percentage of growth in headcount that is allowed to go to managerial positions. So for business A, it wants just 15% of its growth happening among managers. For business B, 25%, and for business C, 12%. Now these constraints are good to keep the organization balanced, but relaxing these constraints has the benefit of opening up more managerial positions, which can then be filled by female candidates with a positive impact on diversity. So if we're willing to relax these constraints, that could also help our gender diversity. So for business A, let's relax our constraint by 5%. So it's 15%, we'll bump it up to 20, and let's see what happens to diversity. We get another 1/10 of a percentage point towards our managerial diversity. Now for business C, let's bump it up 20% as well. And now we're up to 16.8% of our managers are now female in our projection. So relaxing those constraints has an impact. And what's very useful is that all of these changes that we've made have been recorded in this action plan at the bottom of the app. So we can see all the tweaks we've made to the different behavioral parameters and the resulting change in our projections in diversity that come from these behaviors. So we can see we've made some fairly ambitious changes. We've tried to be realistic, but we've still been somewhat ambitious. And we can see we still haven't fully achieved that gender diversity goal. We've gone from 12% all the way up to 16.8%, but we didn't hit our goal of 20%. So what's useful about this is it can provide a gut check on some of the targets we've set. And also it can really emphasize just how committed we need to be in order to hit our targets.